One of the most important things to understand about how sunburn leads to cancer is that it's not a single event, but rather a chain reaction of biological failures. When people think about cancer risk, they often imagine it as one big moment where a cell suddenly becomes cancerous. But that's not really how it works. Cancer development is almost always a multi-step process, a cascade where one problem leads to another, which leads to another, until eventually you end up with a cell that's capable of forming a tumor. It starts with that initial UV exposure damaging DNA. Now, if your cellular repair systems catch that damage quickly and fix it correctly, the chain stops there. Crisis averted. But let's say the repair is imperfect or the damage was too extensive. Now you've got a cell with mutated DNA. That's step one in the chain. This mutated cell might function normally for years, or it might already have some subtle changes in behavior. Maybe it grows slightly faster than it should, or maybe it's a bit more resistant to stress signals. Then comes another sunburn, more UV exposure. This time, the already mutated cell takes another hit. Perhaps this second round of damage affects a different gene, one that controls cell division or one that responds to growth-limiting signals. Now you've got a cell with two significant mutations. It's still not cancer, but it's moving in that direction. This is step two in the chain. The inflammation that accompanies each sunburn is another link in this chain. Those inflammatory signals change the environment around cells. They can promote blood vessel formation, which provides nutrients to growing tissue. They can suppress certain immune functions that would normally identify and eliminate abnormal cells. The inflammatory environment essentially makes it easier for damaged cells to survive and accumulate more mutations. As this process continues over years or decades, cells accumulate what researchers call a mutational burden. Each mutation might be small on its own, but together they add up. A cell might gain mutations that let it ignore growth stop signals. Then it might gain mutations that prevent programmed cell death. Then mutations that allow it to escape immune surveillance. Each step makes the cell more abnormal, more independent, more cancer-like. Here's what makes this chain reaction particularly dangerous. There's usually no warning sign until very late in the process. You can't feel mutations accumulating in your cells. There's no pain or discomfort as cells gradually lose their normal regulatory controls. By the time skin cancer becomes visible or symptomatic, the chain reaction has already progressed through multiple steps over many years. But here's the positive angle. Because cancer develops as a chain reaction rather than a single event, you have many opportunities to break that chain. Every time you use sunscreen, seek shade, or wear protective clothing, you're preventing that next link from forming. You're stopping the cascade before it gets any further. Even if you already have some sun damage from years ago, protecting yourself now prevents additional mutations from accumulating in already vulnerable cells. This chain reaction model also explains why prevention is so much more effective than treatment. It's much easier to prevent the first few links in the chain from forming than it is to try to reverse the process once a cell has accumulated multiple mutations and become fully cancerous. Every sunburn you prevent is potentially preventing multiple steps in this chain reaction, which is why consistent, long-term sun protection has such powerful effects on cancer risk.